Hello everyone, it's Rebecca here and today I'm bringing you my most anticipated reads of 2018. Now these reads aren't necessarily new releases that are coming out next year or have come out this year. These are books that are very high up my TBR because my shelves are overflowing. I have shelves upstairs that I need to sort of jiggle about and I have a lot of unread books. So my plan for 2018 is to read more of my own books, and these are the ones that are topping the list right now in books I need to read. So without further ado, I'm just going to get into it because I have I have 6 books that I would like to show you today. So let's go. The first one I have is This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. Now this one I want to pick up mainly because as soon as I finished Vicious I went out and bought this one and Our Dark Duet in the matching covers, so I need it. I need to read it now. And I just loved Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I really enjoyed the writing style. I thought it was right smack bang on point for what I needed right there and then. And it is a book that I'm probably going to reread and continuously love. So This Savage Song follows Kate Harker and August Flynn, who are the heirs to a divided city. And it follows them as Kate wants to be as ruthless as her father and August just wants to be a human as good-hearted as his own father. So I'm guessing this is about them sort of being conflicting families and sort of with them being heirs, what that means for the kingdom. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, particularly when I know there's a sequel called Our Dark Duet. I need to read this like soon. So this is definitely one of the ones that I would like to get to in 2018. The next one I have, if you've watched my video where I talk about sort of my goals for 2018, I'll leave a link either down there or up there if you haven't. But I mentioned in this one reading more series and particularly further books in a series where I've started and just haven't continued. So the next one I have should be no surprise really, and it is Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. I went out and bought all of the books in this matching kind of style, so they're all the geographical style, and I think I've actually got rid and unhauled my George R.R. Martin Game of Thrones book. So that's a good one. But yeah, I think I might have actually DNF'd a Game of Thrones and got rid of it. But I've watched the series, so I know what happens at the end of Game of Thrones, so it's fine. It's totally fine. It's not fine. I'm missing Ned Stark. But anyway, Clash of Kings. This one I'm excited to get into. I think it's going to be one of those ones that I just pick up and read occasionally because it's over 800 pages long, and that's something that I've noticed is a very common theme with either the books on this pile or George R.R. Martin's books in general, to be fair. So I think I'm going to try and get some of this read. I want to try and set a goal for each month to try and read so many pages of this, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'll let you know if I go ahead with that though, and if I do enjoy reading this, I may do a reading vlog as I go through this, but the majority of it's just going to be, why am I reading this? Why isn't it done yet? Why is it so this? Why is it so that? I know what happens. Why is this just taking too long to get there? That kind of thing. So I don't know if it's going to be worth it. This is definitely book 2 that I need to get to at some point next year. FYI, that was probably also on last year's list of books that I need to get to. So this has gone very well so far. The third book I have to show you, again, follows that theme of series. No, it's not George R.R. Martin, it's fine. The next one is Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. Last year, at the start of last year, I kicked off my 2017 reading with The Assassin's Apprentice and absolutely loved it. Fitz is just absolutely adorable. You can tell that he just means well in everything he does, and you just want to hug him. You just want to hug him tight and hug his doggies tight and just like, yeah. So my goal for this year is to read Royal Assassin at some point, which is the second book in the Farseer trilogy, and this is the first trilogy that you need to read if you would like to read the likes of The City of Magic and things like that. So this one, I can't really say too much about it because I need to read Assassin's Apprentice, but this is definitely high up on my list of things to read next year, as are all of these books, which is the point of this video. So the next one I have is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and this has been incredibly popular on BookTube for ages, just for months and months and months, and I seem to be one of the only people that hasn't actually read this yet. Like, people are actually giving it to their parents to read and like going, you need to read this like now. So, and I'm just like, I haven't read it yet. It's on my shelf. You're lucky I've even got it on my shelf, to be fair. It was because I caught it on a really good deal. But anyway, this follows Star, who lives in the poor neighbourhood where she grew up, and also in her posh high school in the suburbs. So I believe it's going to follow Star as she sort of deals with those two controversial kind of sort of living experiences and sort of dealing with those as a girl who comes from a poor neighbourhood in a struggling sort of high society environment and vice versa. Don't know when I get around to it, but it looks like it's short enough. Yeah, it's about 400 pages, so it should take me about a month to read if I follow my 10 pages a day kind of rule, but I think I'll probably read it in less than a month. But yeah, The Hate U Give is one of the ones I would like to read next year. This next one is one of the books I got in one of my subscription boxes this year, and I've kind of agreed to do something with Iris from the Sheep and the Wolf, I think, to do with this book, but it is City of Brass, and this one is by, who's this by? I know who this is by. I've read her name before and I still can't say it. S.A. Chakraborty, yeah. So this one is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, and I believe I'm going to be trying to read this in the month of January with Iris from the Sheep and the Wolf. My aim is to just actually start the book at the beginning of the month and hopefully finish it, or at least get a good chunk of the way through, so that if she does contact me to chat about it, I know what the hell she's on about. Because I don't know how I'm going to read this. Just, I don't know if I've got the time, etc, etc, but I really do want to read it. It sounds really, really promising and so exciting. So what I'll do is, if I remember, note to self, remember, but you'll probably forget, is I'll leave a link to the Goodreads down below for this one if it's out yet on there. But it does sound so good, and this was the front cover of it. So it says, step into a city of enchantment, desire and magic. It's just sounds so amazing. And it's a floppy book, and it's going to be so easy to read. I need to read this like now. So what I might actually do is I might try and finish up Artemis in the next day or two and try and get a head start and try and start this before the 1st of January. Sorry, Iris. And finally, I say finally, it's as if I'm setting my TBR for the whole year. I'm not, I'm just setting it up for my most anticipated reads. It's a book that I should have read by now. As in, I really should have read by now. This one is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This one doesn't have the dust jacket on because I took it off because I was going to take it out and about, and I just never got around to taking it out and about. But if it counts for anything, there's already a bookmark inside it. Counts, right? That totally counts. Yeah, this one is the screenplay by J.K. Rowling and other people. And call me controversial, but I actually enjoyed Cursed Child. It took me back to my childhood, took me back to my love of Harry Potter, and seeing those characters grow up, it sort of sucked me right back into that world. And then this film came out, and then I needed to read this, and I just haven't done it. But I know that I'll probably read this in like maybe 2 sittings, because I know that I'm going to fly through it really quickly, and I already know the plot and yada yada yada. So I really need to get to this sort of ASAP too. Like everything else in this pile. As I keep saying, this is a rubbish video, I'm sorry. There we go. Those are the books that I need to get to in 2018 at some point. Ideally, by the sounds of it, I need to read them all at once in January and just blast them all out in January. That's not gonna happen. But anyway, my aim is to read, I want to say get these all done by sort of the middle of the year. Don't hold me to it, because we know what I'm like with setting myself targets. Like, I set myself the target to read Stephen King's Under the Dome in a year. It's still on my shelf somewhere, unfinished. That was 2 years ago. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Do you have any books that you see on this pile that you would like to read? Get in touch, maybe we can have a chat about them, sort of set up a buddy read kind of thing. Maybe I suck at committing to these things, but anyway, if you've got any books that are your most anticipated reads for next year, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe we can have a nice chat. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon with another video. Bye! Oh, I suck at this.